Besties, before we get started in the episode, excuse my messy room. I have to say thank you. Thank you to every single person that donated. And on the Instagram community for the LA fires, thank you to every single person who reached out to me. It was probably one of the most terrifying things we've ever experienced. Like, I say we because me and my roommate, and we were all going through it together. And it was collective experience. We were all terrified. But it really has brought the city together, and it's honestly brought even my online community, like people reaching out that I haven't talked to in years, strangers donating. It does not go unnoticed. Even just a text, if you know someone out here, like, will genuinely make them feel loved, seen, and appreciated in these really weird times. It's going to take so much devastation has happened. It's going to take so much to rebuild, and you guys really did make an impact. We took half of the money. We did donations, physical donations. We went to Costco. I made a video about it on my Instagram if you want to go watch. And then the other half went to a single mom with 5 children and then another mom with a 6-month-old baby. So you guys had direct impact. If we only took donations for that first weekend because I am going out of town, but I will be back in 8 days. So if you are interested in making some sort of direct impact, want to help with more donations, this is going to take years to rebuild. So we're going to be needing help for a long time. So send me a DM and I can get you connected. But again, thank you so much. I love you guys, and please just pray for LA. I love you. Enjoy the episode. Hi, besties. Welcome back to the Single Besties podcast. It is me, Montana Duran, and I am so glad that you're here today. I am so grateful. It's 2025. That means it's been 5 years since I started a podcast in my mom's basement. It used to be called Tana Talks, but we switched to be Single Besties last year, and we've been having a lot of transitions. And so it's still 5 years of me podcasting, 5 years of the journey. I never deleted any of the old episodes. So if you want to go hear me be so cringe, go ahead and do that. And I would appreciate that. The listens help. Some of them have ads in them. So listen to those for sure and click the links. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. It's been a minute since we've had a podcast. So I am turning 30 also in 10 days. It is my 30th birthday and I'm doing a big solo trip, and I kind of honestly forgot about that. So I kind of wanted to do a podcast, like catch up and also continue on from something that I was started on TikTok. Kind of took a pause because of the fires happening in LA. We'll get there. But 30 lessons I learned under 30. I was making these vlogs of just my life and my journey of my 30s, and then the fires happened. So I kind of felt so I had all these vlogs and it felt very inauthentic to just post that as everything is happening out here. And so I was like, I will just do a solo podcast. So this will only be the first 15, and then the other 15 will be next week's when that's my actual birthday. The actual birthday day will be that day. So I'm super excited. So sidebar, I have had a goal to I've had Paris on my vision board since like 2022. I have no idea why Paris has been on my vision board. I've had the freaking Eiffel Tower. And so I something in me was like, you need to just go, like go on your 30th. Like you've never been, you want to go, just do it. And I've tried to plan with friends. It never works out. That's a big trip. It's a lot to ask off. It's a lot to coordinate, especially because I don't really like traveling with a lot of people, and the friends I do travel with are like here and like they get projects, and then I'll get a project, and then things happen, and then friends back home. It's just really hard to coordinate, like East Coast, West Coast travel. Like it's just a lot to coordinate. So I just decided to do it myself. And I had saved up a bunch of points with my friend. Like my friend also helped me get some points. So shout out. Shout out. Thank you for the points. So I saved all my points and I booked a flight. But the thing is I almost did not book the flight to London. And something told me to do it and I did it. And I'm going to London. I'm going to Paris, Amsterdam. And I'm super excited, but I almost didn't do it. Like there was something in me, like I didn't want to do it. I was scared to do it, but I'm so glad. That's going to be the first lesson. This is the first lesson before we even get there. Trust your gut, because I'm so glad I listened to my gut, because I was like, I don't know. This is a big trip. It's a big decision. It's a lot to do on my own, but like, I really want to. I really feel something calling me to. And here's the thing. We are 21 days into January, and I feel like I've lived 10 years so far. I feel like I'm actually turning 40. I don't think I'm turning 30. I'm turning 40 because the last 3 weeks have aged me about 10 years. So that's just where I'm at, y'all. So I need this. My soul needs this. I need a break. I've been grinding really hard the last couple weeks trying to focus with everything that's going on out here. So we've had so much devastation out here, and it's been so much to just see, but I truly appreciate every single one of you coming through and donating and being there for me. And even just a text, like I heard from people that I hadn't heard from in a very long time, and it did make me feel loved, and I do appreciate it. But my soul definitely needs this break, and I can't wait to tell you guys what I learn and what I do, because definitely the past 3 weeks having a job in social media has not been fun. And so I just need a break to give my brain creativity. And so I'm so glad you guys are here. Let's get into the 15 lessons. And I also want to tell you guys that interviews are coming back in 2025. I'm really trying to, because I do this now for like work. And I haven't been proud of some of the stuff that I was putting out, and I wasn't giving it a very good effort. I wasn't actually thinking about it, putting in time, and that's on me. I was just rushing around trying to, just like put something out instead of nothing, when I really want to take this serious this year, because I had a lot of things happen last year to where people were trying to get their hands in the, yeah. So I really do think last year we built something really special on Instagram, on TikTok. We have a really special community in live and in person. We have great live events. We have a great community on Instagram that's growing. We have a great community on TikTok that was the original reason why we started this, and the TikTok engagement has just tanked, but that's just another story for another day. So we have all of these things working, and now I want to focus this year on the podcast, on the YouTube, on that kind of content, and different types of interview formats that aren't just so sit down and tell me, like that's so boring, and I don't want to be boring. I want this to be different, because we are the single besties. And again, even if I was married with 75 children, I'm always going to love unsingle people, because this is our time. And I'm so excited to actually like live what I preach, like practice what I preach. I tell you guys, like, go out, freaking live your life, do the thing. And now I'm like hopping across the pond, going to meet my London friends and my Frenchmen. I did get on Hinge in Paris. I probably got on too soon too, because I've been on the Hinge Paris, and I've talked to like four guys for the past 3 weeks, and I'm in love with all four of them. So I don't know. I might come back with a boyfriend. I might not come back. Y'all better quit playing. I work on the computer. I can work from anywhere. I can work from the Louvre. I need to shut up. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into these 15 lessons. I have my other phone because I can't remember 15 things, guys. I can't even remember. Like, I have not slept, guys. I seriously have not slept. These fires have kept me up. I am not on a good sleep schedule, which I guess is good, because I'll be jet lagged, because like I'm just staying up 24 hours a day. I'm taking little naps at night. Pray for LA. Honestly, guys, we need it. Anybody here? We are all crashing out. Everyone that lives in Los Angeles is crashing out. We're holding it together, and we're all coming together, but every single last one of us are crashing out. We are crashing out, because the fires were 2 weeks ago. Guess what? Still burning. Okay? Still burning. So, number one lesson that I've learned in my 20s. Sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying, because I've cried a lot. I've worried a lot. Good thing I have a med spa client, because I'm gonna shove my forehead full of Botox. Lesson number one: healing isn't pretty. It's definitely not linear, but it is worth it. There have been so many things that have hurt me in my 20s, like emotionally, that I've had to heal from, past things in my childhood. Like I've had to deal with, here's the thing, like your 20s are really just like realizing what you just went through as a child, because you're really just like, we're all just babies. Like our brains, my brain, your brain, I think they said 25, now it's 27. So really our brains didn't fully develop until like 3 years ago. So we're toddlers out here, but we're still like trying to process those childhood wounds. We're trying to process the things we have done to ourselves, the friendships that you lose, the relationship you lose. Like there's a lot of healing that comes from, if you're trying to grow in your 20s, and you're trying to grow, and you're trying to create something for yourself, and you're trying to create a life for yourself. Because it's not that I don't want a man and a partner, but I also want to just not wait for one. So like I'm trying to build this. So if you're trying to, and you're trying to become the best version of yourself, that requires healing, and that requires a level of shedding of old ways, shedding of things, old thought patterns, habits, things that you used to do, ways you
figuring out why you do what you do. It's not easy, because if it was easy, everyone would do it. But healing is so worth it. It's not easy. It's probably the hardest thing I've done. I'm still on a healing journey. I still like I've come so far from where I was at in my 20s with that young girl getting freaking alcohol poisoning, going to the hospital. Like I have come so far from her, but that I still have so much more to work on. I still like even recently I've been like getting angry and I'm like, where did this anger come from? Like I'm not usually an angry girly. Like where is this coming from? So it's a journey. It's not linear. Sometimes you go back, you go 20 steps back and then you go 25 steps forward and you go 12 steps back. It's a journey, but if you're committed to it, it's so worth it because there's nothing I love more than like looking back on who I was or like photos or pictures and just being like, oh my gosh, I don't even recognize that person. And it's so beautiful to how we grow and evolve as humans. So that's like number two, because number one was trust your gut. We're never going to forget that. So number three, being single isn't a waiting period. This is your actual life. So live it. Stop waiting. Stop waiting. Because I had a friend tell me when I told them I was planning this trip to Paris, they said, why would you want to go to Paris? That's such a romantic city. Why would you want to go by yourself? Wouldn't you want to go with your man? Like, what if you have already been to Paris and you meet a guy and he's never been to Paris and then like that's something special you guys can't have? And I said, okay, let me throw one out you too. What if I never get married? And then I sat around waiting my whole life to go visit Paris. But plot twist, I never got married because I sat around waiting my whole life to go to Paris with my husband. And plot twist, I never got married. That would be embarrassing. That would be like missing out. Reframe that. Like, this is your life. Like, here you go. Go to Paris. Put your location on Hinge there. Go on a date. Fall in love with a Frenchman. Move to France. Get a visa. Not that hard. These Frenchmen are gonna find this podcast and be like, she's trying to trap me. No, I'm not. I don't. I just do want to learn French and I want to immerse myself in it. Anywho, back to what I was saying. Live your life. You're not going to get it back. This time is so special. That's the whole theme of this podcast. This time is never going to come back. One day you're going to be like breastfeeding, like looking a hot mess, being like, freak, I wish I would have took that trip to Paris. But now I have to go pump. Like, just take the freaking trip. Number three, not everyone is going to understand your path, and that's their problem, not yours. So, this comes from a lot of things. Like, just being single, like, I feel like people don't understand that you can be happy and fulfilled and have all forms of different kind of love and still be okay. Like, you're not just a childless cat lady sitting there and crying. Like, you're okay. Like people don't understand that and that's okay. That's for them. I also know like if you have a non-traditional career path, when I first started doing content stuff, my mom had no idea what it was. Now she fully like sees that I'm doing it for work, doing it for like it's serious and she didn't know what it was at first. She still doesn't really know what I do. But it's not for her to understand. It's for you. This is you can have people's opinions and you can have their influence in your life and you can respect them and love them, but your life is yours to live and you're the only person that's going to have to answer for it. Stop living your life for everyone else. Number five, something new will always feel scary, but regret feels worse. I did so many scary things in my 20s. Oh my gosh, stand up, a cross country road trip, moving to California, starting a podcast. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on, and everything scared me. Everything I ever did scared me. But what scared me worse was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be laid up dead in the bed at the old people home. And I'm going to think, oh my gosh, there's so much more I wish I could have done. And that scared me worse than getting up and bombing in front of people trying to learn how to be funny on stage. Like, that scared me worse than not trying. Because at least if I tried and I sucked, then I suck. But if I didn't try, I would always wonder. And so whatever that is for you, you're going to regret it if you don't try it. Like if there's something that you've been wanting to do it. Like do it. And if you hate it afterwards, that's fine, but at least you did it. Like you owe it to yourself to do it. Number 6. Dating isn't a part-time job. Stop treating it like it's one. Sometimes, like, guys, you're gonna hate me for this controversy, but if you are trying so hard and holding on so tight and just wanting to go on, you're stacking dates 23 in a day, like, girl, boy, person, y'all chill. Take that energy and invest it in yourself and like let it come. Like, I'm not saying don't date. I'm not saying don't be on the apps. I'm not saying don't put yourself out there, but I'm saying if you're putting in the work like you're at a job, which I do think there are times. Like, I do think there are times where you maybe like take a couple years off, then you're like, okay, well, I'm back at it in full swing, and you like stack them because you know, whatever. But I'm saying if it's been like a steady cycle, I've been there where you're just you're like, I just don't want to be alone. Sometimes you got to be alone. Sometimes you got to be alone, and alone is the best place to be sometimes, because I'd rather be alone with myself and in my darkest thoughts than together forever with the wrong person. I would rather be alone and a little sad temporarily than permanently forever miserable with the wrong person that I always had to question and wonder, yada, yada, yada. These are good. I wrote them. I'm like, silly. Number 8, like, learn to hype yourself up. No, okay. Number 7, resting and quitting is not the same thing. I feel like you guys have been following this journey for a long time. There have been times where I have taken a break because I needed a break. I was burnt out. This has always been like a creative outlet for me. I feel like this year is the first time I'm like taking it serious as like from like a business standpoint, because I guess now it's like my job for. I also don't want you guys to think I just completely stopped podcasting. I started working for a real estate company, and I helped them launch a podcast. And so I'm kind of hosting for them. So I've been doing a podcast a week with them for like the past 2 months. So that's kind of where I've been. So if there's any real estate agents on here, hit me up. I'll send you the link. So I got you. It's been really fun. They're really cool guys. I'm learning a lot about business from them. But resting and quitting isn't the same thing. I had to take a break from this because I was not liking the way it was going. I wasn't liking what I was putting out. So I took a pause because I need to figure out what direction we're going. I didn't quit. I never have felt guilty about taking this pause because I know it's needed to get me long term, because I never started this podcast with the intention of quitting. This has always been a creative outlet for me, that I've wanted a community, to build a community, because I started this community during one of my most lonely seasons when I felt like I didn't have friends. So I started talking to the internet, and now I call you guys my besties because I genuinely consider you guys my besties. Like, you show up for me. Like, the way that you guys showed up for me in the city that I live in when we were on fire and still are on fire is truly so beautiful. I still am getting check-in texts, and they mean so much. And honestly, that is going to be number 8. If someone is on your mind, I'm switching up my list. Like, so if I get the numbers wrong, like, it's fine. If someone's on your mind, send them a text. I feel like I have said that so many times throughout the 5 years of this podcast, but there's so much power in your words. And if you're thinking about someone and they're on your mind, it's for a reason. We are all connected. We are all better together, and we all have so much in common. And this experience solidified it so much, because there were people that literally talked to me on the regular. Like, we were friends, I thought, have still yet to say one word to me, ask me anything, do anything. Yet I had strangers that just follow me on the internet send 50, 100, $150, like crazy stuff, like, was so nice. And we were able to help legitimately 2 families, one with 5 kids and one with a 6-month-old. Like, we were able to help because people came together. But all of that, sorry, I just went on a tangent, but it's fine. But a text, if someone's on your mind, send them a text. It takes you no effort, and you never know what someone is going through, because I didn't realize how real that sentiment is until like the past 2 weeks, when you're really, really struggling or you're in a really scary spot. Getting a text from someone, like, it kind of brightens your day, because you're like, oh, I was on their mind. They thought of me. Like, oh, like, I matter. Like, we all want to feel that way. You love getting those texts. So why don't you be the one to send those texts? Number 9. This is me. This is what I learned last year, that you don't need to monetize every hobby. Some things can just be for you. This is a very creative entrepreneurial crowd. We have like these networking events. We're all, single women out here grinding, whatever you want to say. And I feel like we all want to monetize it, especially like a lot of content girlies I know, a lot of social media girlies. We want to monetize everything. We want to make money off of everything. We want to get this collab, we want these clothes, but we want to do this and that. It's okay to have hobbies that you don't monetize. I remember I learned this lesson really hard last year. My therapist, that's why I started playing basketball again. And I carry a basketball in the car with me because it helps me really connect to my inner child. It's really fun to bounce a ball when you're like annoyed. So you're not like punching the wall or something. So it's really fun to do that. So it's okay to have hobbies. I think adults need to have more hobbies that are healthy. A lot of hobbies that you do in your 20s are like going out to the bar, drinking, partying, tailgating, things like that. You're in college, you're in those years, and then you're a young adult, you're going to the bars, this, that, bachelorette trips, this and that. Like, it's okay to have hobbies that are healthy, like yoga, Pilates, going to the park, going for a walk, going on a hike, going to the beach, going to the lake, traveling. Lots of healthy hobbies that you don't have to monetize. Number 10, no, number 9. I don't know what number we're on because I added a couple numbers as we went, as just things started popping in. Okay, boundaries are not mean, they are necessary, and you don't owe anyone an explanation. Boundaries are something that were really hard for me to set because I was a very big people pleaser. I still am. I still hate setting boundaries with people, but they're necessary and they make your life more peaceful, and they honestly make people respect you a little bit more instead of thinking they can just walk all over you. Because for a lot of my 20s, I let people walk all over me, and we are not bringing that energy into 30. Number 11, therapy is great, but so is actually doing the work outside of it. Does that need an explanation? Like, I know people that have went to like 75,000 therapists, but they are still the craziest people I know. And I say crazy, I love you. I can be crazy sometimes. We all can. But they are still like just replaying it. They just want to go and replay. You have to put in the work. You have to use the skills that they give you. I'm not in therapy right at the moment, like right now. I feel like me and her, we were great. She really helped me a lot through my breakup. And then, she was like, we didn't break up, but we're good. I'm like, okay, well, like if I feel the need to come back, I will, because I put in the work. So it's not supposed to be we just cycle around for our whole lives, therapist to therapist. Like, we're supposed to continue to evolve and learn and grow, and put in the work. And also, if you do have to go to the therapist your whole life, that's okay. Because honestly, throughout my whole life, like throughout my whole 20s, I have been in and out of therapy. And I think that I was talking to my therapist about that before I quit. I was like, well, I don't want to just feel like I'm coming, like if something happened. And she was like, that happens, like situational things. Like, I started therapy, like when I was starting the move to California, because that's a big life change. And so I was trying to process it with a person, and then the breakup. So like when these big life changes happen, I do like want someone else to navigate. And she was like, that's how some people do it, and that's how I choose to do it, because I do take it serious when I do invest the money into it, because it is an investment and it is an investment in yourself. I do take it serious because I don't like wasting money. And I also don't like feeling like crap, and therapy does help me feel better. So number 11 or 12, I don't know, we're on a different number. Your dream life isn't going to build itself. Stop waiting on the perfect time. Stop waiting. This is why I planned the trip. I was done waiting on my friends to want to go with me. I was done waiting for a man to want to go be romantic in Paris. I decided to create the life I wanted for myself. Same for my move to LA. There's been so many things in my 20s where there were so many things I wanted to do in my earlier 20s that I didn't do. I didn't really start like embracing this stuff until like 25. So I really feel like these are like 15 lessons I've learned in the last 5 years, but it is what it is, because it's not going to build itself. If you have a dream, if you have that desire, it didn't just put itself there. Like, it didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Like, it means something, and it does matter, and you matter, and your dreams matter, your story matters, it all matters. So you have to put in the steps. It doesn't happen overnight, but you have to just put in the work little by little, bit by bit, and it all comes together. Number 13, not everyone deserves access to you, especially just because they used to. And that is so true. The only thing we have in life is our time, our energy, our efforts. And just because someone used to have access to you doesn't mean they get to have access to you anymore, because you had me in your life once, you lost me. That's not on me. That's probably, or it could be on me. That's on you. If you don't have access to me, and that comes back to the boundaries, and you have to protect yourself. Just because if a friendship is hurting you or harming you or taking from you or draining you, it's okay to break up with a friend. It's okay to do those things. Like, you have to protect your peace, your energy, so you can serve like your life and your community better. And if there's things that you need to cut out, that's okay. Not everyone deserves access to you, and that doesn't mean they're a bad person or anything bad, but not everyone deserves access to you. Like, it should be special. It should be a privilege. Number 14, you can do hard things, but you don't have to do them alone. I think that's the biggest lie about being single is I just keep going back to this because I honestly think it's a like, childless cat lady. That's what people think about when they think about single people. And it's like sad because you don't have to do life alone. And just because you're single doesn't mean you're alone. You still have purpose. You still have community. You still have so many different forms of love, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're not less than, you are not discounted, you are not too much, you are perfect just the way you are. And then the final one I want to end on is building a life that you love takes work, and sometimes that work is just figuring out what you even want. And I do think, like, sometimes, like, what I wanted in my 20s, like, I went through so many majors, I didn't know what I wanted. And I feel now, as I'm going into 30, I at least think I know what I want, at least for the next few years. I don't have it all figured out, but I know. And it started with asking the questions. It wasn't always clear, but I knew kind of what I wanted to do. And so I started doing things, and then it became more clear the more I put in a little bit. And then some of the things I used to do, I don't do anymore. Like, I don't do comedy, but I still speak and I still am funny. So it's just like you pivot, but you have to at least start. Like, so start with one thing that brings you joy, or one thing that's on your mind, and then do one little baby step to get there. And then other things will start being revealed to you and guiding you. But I do think it does take that time of sitting down. What is your vision? What do you want your life to look like? What hobbies do you want to have? Where do you want to go? What is on your list for your life? What do you want to do this year? Because if you don't write it down or plan it out or think about it, it's just not going to happen. You're going to roll into a new year, and you're nothing that you wanted to do is going to be done because you didn't put in the action to do it. Some things will, because, naturally you're going to make plans, you're going to do things, but I think just be intentional. What do you want? And then do one small thing to get there. And it sounds silly and simple, but that's really...
Besties, my computer literally died in the middle of me recording that. So I think I finished the final episode point, but if not, we will be back next week with the other 15 lessons I learned and a full charged battery. I love you guys. I mean it. Bye.